Listen closely. The views discussed in this podcast are solely those of the hosts. Audience discretion is advised.
All right. Things should be rolling now.
All right. Welcome back, or welcome to, first-time listeners, to an all-new episode of the Winning Podcast. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. You may notice some things are different.
But a lot's happened to justify why it's been so long. And also, we had, audio content that we thought about putting out, but I didn't want to switch. I figured it was just better to wait. But it's been a while. All new episode of the Winning Podcast. A lot's happened since the last time we all sat down together. So it's going to be a long episode.
As always, we are your hosts. I'm Caleb.
I'm Luigi. Listen. All right. It's just, again, so much happened. Let's get right into it. How you been?
Hey, nobody can see it right now, really, but my hair, I dyed it purple. That's cool. That's fun, flirty. But my arm was also purple for a while there because I dislocated my shoulder a little while ago. So, that was lovely.
Not even a little while ago, between the last recording and now.
Yeah.
So in the last 2 weeks.
Easily, within the last 2 weeks. Supposed to maybe get surgery, but they're playing games and not trying to get me scheduled, so we'll get that seen.
How'd you dislocate your shoulder?
I was riding a bike, one of those bikes that you rent.
Were you learning?
Man, I know how to ride a bike. I was going down a hill at 20 miles an hour, and I hit the embankment where the trees are planted. Mm-hmm. I basically hit like a tree planter, and then I proceeded to also hit like a shipping container.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, so how you feeling?
Honestly, I'm feeling a lot better now. I just I have a muscle spasm in my back that makes it hard for me to get a deep breath. And so that's probably the biggest issue that I'm having at this point.
Do you think when your arm comes out the sling, it's going to be noticeably smaller than your other arm?
It kind of is already, but it's not so much that it's smaller. It's just the muscle definition is different. There's muscles that are here, but they're injured for sure. And on the other side, if I flex, you can actually see it come through. But
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
How long did it say it's going to take you to recover?
So you said the standard recovery time for standard recovery time for a dislocated shoulder is 6 weeks.
Jeez.
And that's on the low end.
Are you working during that time, or what are you doing?
I'm not working right now. I'm gonna try to go back to work on Monday though, hopefully.
You working on Juneteenth?
I don't know. I haven't gotten my schedule for next week yet, but I know that some of my coworkers are supposed to be out, so I don't know. We'll see.
That's crazy. But that definitely impacted our ability to record and bring you guys new content.
We were going to try to do skits, and it's kind of hard to do that. I can't lift my arms.
Yeah. And you moved.
Yeah,
so there was a lot of other stuff happening.
That was a good time.
But glad to see you're doing better. This is a little interesting because we haven't recorded in a while, so I'm out of form.
How are you doing? How have things been on your end?
Things have been good. It's been an interesting time. I'm not as injured as you, but I definitely took a fall, for lack of better terms, and had some injuries where my arm was also, not the best, but that lasted a couple days. But outside of that, I've been really good. I've been trying to find a new job. You know what I mean? Trying to get back in the workplace. Trying to find something that aligns with what I got going on now. And it's kind of working out, so we'll see what comes of that. Also been playing a lot of FIFA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just like doing stuff and posting stuff. So I was like, what could we do for the podcast where it's something else that I do a lot, but I can just like post it, and it's kind of like, you know, there's some like a little bit of autonomy to it, and I don't really have to look after it because I'm already doing it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So started posting FIFA content to give the channel like a sub channel. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So if you were to come and you don't really want to hear us talk, but you wanted to watch some sports gameplay of me being filthy at FIFA, you can go ahead and do that because that's really what it is. Even earlier, I was posting gameplay, and when you look up, you know, like comedy on YouTube, it gives you a general number of how many accounts on YouTube does comedy. Mm-hmm. That's like, you know, like 5, 10, 12 million accounts. But when you put in like FIFA or like just EA FIFA or whatever, excuse me, I'm breathing a little hard in the mic. Bro, there's like 125, 15,000. It's a really small like number. So I don't know. All that to say, it's been interesting because the time off we've taken from the podcast, I've just wanted to see what the live streaming and gaming was, because all of my favorite YouTubers, they have gaming channels, you know what I mean? Even RDC, like I didn't know he played FIFA, and today I was watching a video of him playing FIFA and betting $2,500. That was kind of crazy. But I've just been experimenting with that space. I've been outside shopping a little bit, just hanging out. So I've been enjoying the summer. Besides that, not much else has happened. I've been staying inside because, again, Seattle gets crazy. People are getting hurt, and I'm not trying to deal with all that.
People are getting hurt all over the place right now.
Yeah. So what do you have planned for Juneteenth?
Nothing particularly planned. I've always just kind of treated that as a day to reflect. Mm-hmm. Not so much to like make it a celebration or any of that. It's just kind of like a reminder of what we've been through as a people sometimes.
Ew. Why did you say that?
You asked. What are you talking about?
I know, but like the way you said it.
Sometimes it's just, you just got to think about it like that.
I mean, I guess.
What else is Juneteenth for? Are we supposed to be like turning up?
Is that not what people are going to do?
I mean, having a barbecue and turning up are not inherently like the same things to me.
I'm going to a brunch with my fellow black people and hanging out. Might be a little lit. I'd say that's more than a little cookout.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's happening in Seattle,
so we'll see what I even.
Honestly, you could still pop out. That's the thing. Being injured does not stop your ability to party.
That's only partially true.
I mean, yeah, no, I would not go anywhere if I was injured. Anyway, so yeah, Juneteenth, I'm going to this brunch that's, you know, curated by black people, held for black people. They said dress to impress. So that's another reason why I was like, I might need to go and get something. This microphone has been ridiculous. To get something a little nicer, so we'll see what happens. But outside of that, I'm gonna relax. It's a 3-day weekend for most people. But let's get right into it. So while we were not able to podcast, a lot of other podcasters were
going through it.
They weren't even really going through it. They were just throwing a lot of shade at each other. So were a lot of women rappers, allegedly. And I wanted to talk about it, right? Because when you're part of the rap community, beef is kind of, you know, what's going on? Like who's talking about who's doing what? What's the I don't even know. So a while back we talked about this in the podcast where Complex put out their most, you know, they put out the list of the media outlet giants, you know, and like Joe Budden was the number one, and all these other podcasters, you know, and other personalities fell under that. And ever since then, it's been kind of this weird energy where they're all throwing shots at each other, taking nabs at each other, which to me is very odd because I thought they were all friends. You know what I mean?
I thought so too. And at least you would hope they would be.
Yeah, but then you got Charlemagne throwing shots at Joe and talking about who makes more money. And then, you know, Joe talking about how small Willie, you know, like how small the window is in their house. And listen, but no, okay, but for real though. But then you get stuff like DJ Envy, and, you know, then he's also throwing shots at Joe Budden about other things that are happening, and all these other people start pitching in. What does that say for the podcast space? Also, obviously, yes, I don't think anyone goes into podcasting because they want to make a lot of money, because obviously it's hard to do that. And all of their shows are so very different. So what is it that we're seeing now? And honestly, when I saw Joe Budden was number one on whoever's talking about hip hop and doing whatever, for how long he's been in the game and what he's been able to do in it, I didn't think he was wrong for being number one. But for some reason, you know, like Elliot Wilson and Rap Radar went on this for like a week. We're posting all the monumental stuff they've done for the culture that Joe clearly hasn't. And again, you have like Gilly and Wallow talking about, again, just how they're their own boss and they do their own thing. They make their own money and everything else like that. So, what's up?
That's like directly comparing wealth. Like directly comparing wealth is not really a thing you can do.
Which they all have money.
Like exactly. We all have money.
Except not Charlemagne, because apparently Charlemagne's never seen $3 million.
It doesn't matter.
I don't even know.
It doesn't matter. Like, I don't think that any of that is necessary, like super necessary commentary. Like, they're basically having a fit because do you remember in like middle school or sometimes even elementary school, it would be like all the popular girls got together and they made a list of all the boys and then they ranked them like whatever list of popularity, hotness, whatever. That shit is bullshit, obviously. Like, it's like 4 or 5 girls in a school with like 200.
It gives some legitimacy, though.
Yeah, a little bit.
It gives some
but you can't.
Some general legitimacy.
You can't be like, I placed 7th, I'm going to freaking drop out of school.
I mean, yeah, but.
But I'm saying, sure, it's everybody's opinions are valid, but to take like literally one outlet's source and just being like, this is the end all be all, nobody could compete with me, it must mean that I'm the best. It's like, okay, yeah, like I guess they do think that you're the best, but that doesn't discredit anything else that anyone else is doing.
I mean,
like,
I know, but I don't even think that's because the conversation is who's really the best based on everything that they have done. I mean, who do you think, if Joe Budden is not number one, who do you think should have been number one?
I mean, I wouldn't say that Joe Budden doesn't deserve to be number one, given the current rate at which they're producing their content. Like, they are active, and they are actively
really
producing a lot of stuff. So, like, you can't really take that. And I'm not going to say that everybody else isn't also actively producing things. It's just at a different rate, and different people listen to it, and maybe sometimes even the same people. Like, obviously, we're in the bracket of people where we kind of listen to it all.
Also,
like,
is there something really wrong with working for somebody?
No.
Because that's also a big part of the conversation, right? It's like, well, I own this, and I own the rights to this, and I own my, you know, like, I don't answer to anybody. And so some of them are like, well, I don't have to do ads to make money. Like, is there... Because I'm going to be completely honest. You know what I mean? Like, I want the bag however the bag has to come. Mm-hmm. I feel like
if I have to read a thing that says like, Nair, get that hair off of there. Like, yeah, I don't care.
I don't care. But
honestly, Nair, give me that.
I do feel like for a long, long time in just our culture, we're very pick and choosy on who can collaborate and who has to get it out like solo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, that's always been weird. right? Like, and this is not throwing shade on like women, but let's use women for example. When women get online and they're building a business, it's a lot of time it's sponsors, ads, and people they're collaborating with. That's always okay. It's always okay.
Yeah.
But if a man were to come out and was like, promotion and da-da-da, it's like, damn, dog, you have to do a promotion to get that bag?
Yeah,
like
they call you a sellout.
Yeah, you can just stand on your own and make that same amount of money. Why is that? Because that's kind
Why
of
do
the
I
same thing
have
in
to?
podcasting, right?
Like, it's like I said earlier. I would love to do ads.
I would too.
If you
Send
want
that
me,
that
if
way.
you want me to say some stuff, like that would be lovely. It might kickstart my voice acting career.
You
Who
never know.
knows? Like that is awesome to me. But for you to be like, no, like I get my money by just talking on the show. Like,
Yeah. Or
okay,
it's that aspect
cool.
of being like genuine, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, again, like when you're podcasting, it's like, well, I'm not going to do ads because, again, like I'm genuine. I get it out like that. Or it's,
Well,
it's
just do ads for
it's-
things I agree with. Like, come
honestly,
on.
they don't have to be things I agree with. You know what I mean?
Give me the
I don't
money.
drink like that, but I definitely would do ads for alcohol on the podcast.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, and again, it's that aspect that there's only a few ways to get to the bag that's respectable. When I don't agree with that, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
obviously, I'm not signing a bag to be, mad racist, anti-Semitic, and all that type of stuff. But that's obviously where you just got to draw the line no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? It's never at anybody's expense.
Don't let them change you. but-
Yeah, exactly. But right here, right now, I'm already down to do whatever ad deal. So they ain't changing nothing about me. You know what I mean? But also, if the podcast did better without me doing ads, I would opt for that as well. But I don't think there's like a right or wrong way. And I definitely don't think it's enough to leverage which one's better. You know what I mean? Especially,
Absolutely.
this is going to come up later when we talk about Tyler too. A lot of times when you're able to do a certain amount of numbers without having to rely on ads and outsourcing, it's probably because of who you know already. You know what I mean? Like, so for Joe to a lot of time be like, I don't have to do ads. Yeah, but you were Joe Budden before you were Joe Budden in podcasting.
That's true.
Let's be real.
That's
you know what I
true.
mean? You sold millions of copies of records. Like you had alleged beef with Jay-Z at one point in your career. So you're going to have an audience.
This is true.
10,000 people monthly could pay your bills depending on how you run your things, is what I'm saying, if you already kind of have a community like that. And the people who are like, well, I choose the ads I do. Again, I'm sitting here telling you, yo, it's like the writers were on strike, right? Obviously, we stand with them in solidarity, but I'm not going to say I would take the job right now if it would help me get into some spaces. So there are some ads I would do if it meant, like you said, maybe they like your voice. Maybe they want to know who's the guy behind whatever. And now we have more options in career and doing whatever else. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I don't know. I was, by the way of either collaboration or just evolution, I was reading about the story of how Netflix started up. And like they said that in like 93 or like 97, the guy who would go on to create Netflix basically pitched the idea to Blockbuster.
Yeah.
And he was like, we could help each other out. Like I will just run the online operation for Blockbuster. And they were like, why would we do that? We make so much money off of late fees. And they basically laughed him out of the room. A couple years later, he's got the technology. The internet is starting to do its like post 9/11 boom, all this stuff. And he's like, you know what would be great? If you could rent movies with no late fees, right?
Yeah.
And they ate Blockbuster alive
You know what's crazy?
because Blockbuster couldn't get people to commit to late fees. Like,
What's
why would
crazy
you do that?
is at one point in time, people really thought the internet was not going to be anything.
Yeah.
That's insane to think about now.
Yeah.
Like, so many companies are, they need
Based
to be
on the
online
internet.
and they hire through online, or whatever. And they used to not think it was going to be a thing. And And yeah, Netflix did come right under. I don't even know how Blockbuster just lost like that.
They literally
Because
had
you know
the
what's
opportunity.
still around? Redbox.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they're still at every little corner. Hey, man, you want to watch this movie?
Yep.
24 hours, $1.
They got their niche. Put them in the grocery store.
Yeah.
We don't give a shit.
It's for the people who don't believe in signing up for streaming services. It's for people who can't afford to pay $25 a month to actively have to reconfirm that they own that Netflix account. I'm talking to you, Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix,
Can we talk about
you gotta
that?
suck for that.
Can we talk about that? Yo, I was out and about in the streets showing out. My sister texted me talking about I need to confirm the Netflix account because they rolled out their password sharing stuff. Mm-hmm. I need to look into see how it works because I'm not gonna want to do it all the time. Because now, if it is one of those things where
they're trying to make it impossible, I'll tell you that.
if it's one of those things where I really can't share, I'm sorry, you guys. You guys got to get your own account, and I'm gonna go ahead and lower mine to just a couple screens because I don't need that.
Man, here's the thing that sucks about Netflix. We're just gonna break this down real quick.
Yeah.
Because if you want to watch anything in 4K, which if you have a PlayStation 4 or 5 or you have a smart TV made in the last 5 years, that's what you're watching.
Yep.
Then you have to pay the $20 a month subscription.
No matter what.
No matter what. But they go, hey, you can add the other locations to your account for an extra like $6 to $9 or something. I think it's like $9.
You're lying.
No, like you can add that's straight up. I gotta look up the actual prices for it, but it's like somewhere between $6 and $9 on top of your thing just to add like another location.
Oh, I gotta look into that
to your family
because
thing.
I might have accidentally just been like, because you know me, I just be saying okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So they might have been like, all right, well we'll start. Okay, I need to look into that.
Yeah.
I need to look into that.
Because out of nowhere, you're going to be paying like $40 a month for Netflix.
Yeah, and I'm not doing
that. And that's not acceptable.
Because then
I'm about to go down to the 1080p one just because that's all I really do. Like I'm going to watch anime on there and that's it.
I don't really need the 4K.
Yeah.
Because you know what? The TV will upscale it no matter what.
Yeah. As best it can.
Yeah, but which to me works. That's fine. Or the PlayStation will definitely try to upscale it no matter what. So I'm sure I'll be fine. But it does suck that Netflix is rolling this out because I remember the reason why Netflix was so great was because we
could all use it.
Yeah, we didn't all have to have this Netflix account. And let's be real.
You can use it as a household.
I don't really know if this is really going to turn a profit like they think it will.
No. I personally don't think so. I mean, we'll see. They've got a quarter or two of profits to watch, but we'll see how many people fall for it.
Anybody gonna fall for that. But did you go see the new Spider-Man movie?
Yeah.
It's good.
It's really good.
It's really good.
I liked it a lot. I wasn't expecting them to hit me with the see you next time.
You didn't think so?
I know. So here's the thing. I remember when the first one came out and they said that it was going to be a 3-parter. And I just keep forgetting that because every movie is so good.
I do forget that.
Yeah, they said that at the beginning. They're like, it's going to be 3 parts. And I was like,
I guess
okay,
they've
great.
all been trilogies. Yeah, they got to keep it on brand.
And then I went to go see the first one and I was like, great. Can't wait for that next one. And then in between that time and now, I'm like, damn, there was supposed to be a third one.
Yeah. You know, they definitely ran with because they also were like, oh, the second one's going to be a lot darker in theme and everything. And I was like, it's animated Spider-Man. How dark in theme can it be for kids?
It was dark.
But it was dark. It was dark. Do you believe in canon events?
I do. I don't believe that like abiding by canon events is like specifically what you have to do in every case, but I do believe that it's something that happens in a lot of people's destinies and fate.
What do you mean by that?
So like, I don't know, there are certain things that build a person into who they are and what they end up being. Like me being raised one of Jehovah's Witnesses is a pretty high influence on like who I have become since then and like how I think about the world outside of that. And so like if I had been a different person, then that would have been different.
That's the whole point of the canon event is that you weren't a different person. That was specifically meant to happen to you.
Yeah,
Which
and
isn't that kind of shitty? It's like
maybe that was
always meant to be a Jehovah's Witness.
Maybe I was, and honestly, I kind of like the idea because like I have become who I am in spite of my situations. Like, even if that is my fate or like I was destined to be that way for a certain amount of time, it helped me. So that works for me. I don't think that it like anything is unstoppable so long as we're conscious though. So like I wasn't conscious of that decision. That was something that was decided for me at the time. But once I was able to decide, then I was doing something different. So like, sure, yeah, like there may have been another canon event that was set up to happen after being one of Jehovah's Witnesses, but I just didn't do that. But we'll never know.
But that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't know though, because if it was meant to happen, it is happening. Like, it's happening right now. Like,
hey, and that's how I feel about like deja vu. Like deja vu means that like, yeah, like I've probably seen this happen before, or like I predicted that this was going to happen. Then it actually happened. And that means that everything's going where it should be.
Yeah.
The universe is in flow.
It was a good movie. I liked a lot of people didn't like the soundtrack, but I loved the soundtrack. I thought it added a lot to the atmosphere of the movie.
Well, yeah. And it was also vastly different than the first movie. The first movie had like Spider-Man the video game on PlayStation 4 vibes.
Yeah.
Like the next movie, they said it was going to be dark. There were some dark scenes in there.
It was pretty bad.
It was you felt the emotion throughout the album. It's a lot like, because it was produced by Metro, it's a lot like Heaven and Hell. Like the Heaven and Hell soundtrack, you can tell which songs are more heavenly, which songs are more dark and like heavy. And it's similar with this soundtrack. You're like, yeah, there are times when you're supposed to be like, this music is making me feel jarred.
Yeah.
Like I'm feeling weird, and that is
And
because it's weird shit going on.
To your point, in the first movie, there weren't really big stakes like that. Like, yes, his Spider-Man died, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But even then, right, it more kind of was like, oh, that's kind of sad. But, you know, the music was
And
like
he
very
immediately
uplifting.
he immediately got another Spider-Man.
Yeah. Like, the music was very uplifting. It was him just, wow, like, this is really cool. Like, look at this opportunity. While this one was like, look at what your look at what those outcomes, you know, turned out to be. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I thought the music was phenomenal. I thought all of the scenes made a lot of sense. There was a lot of cameos and a lot of like flashbacks with other movies.
It's
the next one's gonna be good.
And I think another thing that people don't really give too much credit to is like we've watched Metro go through a lot.
Yeah.
In the last like couple years, and during the time in which he would have been composing this album and this soundtrack, he was going through a lot.
Yeah.
And you're gonna go and tell that guy that it wasn't like that wasn't on par with the emotions
Honestly,
enough. Like
the
like
Coil
this
Ray
man
joint,
was sad.
The Coil Ray joint I liked a lot.
Yeah.
The Coil Ray joint, I was like, yo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially again when you look at some of the concepts and the themes of the movie and what Homegirl had going on in her own life and how then the whole world kind of fell on her shoulders and she couldn't help but to go see her boy. Now that fucked up the world. You know what I mean? Like, yo.
Go see the movie. It's good.
Go see, yeah. A couple days later, a homie, I can't say that. I'm not going to say what I was about to say on. Yeah, never mind.
Oh my gosh.
But it was good. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it to the point where I came home and I wanted to play the Miles Morales on PS5. Except you boot up and this man's like a lot older. You got Tim's. It's just not the same.
Is that Tim's?
Yeah, it's just not the same vibes. I was like, all right, it's not the same thing. But yeah, where are we at in timing?
It is about time for the first commercial break.
All right, we'll take a break, come back, and talk about a little bit more music and what else has happened since the last time we potted. Peace.
All right, welcome back.
Yeah. Continuing on with music. Music, the arts, and the entertainments. I decided we'll skip over the rap beef and proxy war that's happening and women's rap because, fine, enough is enough. But I do want to talk about a project called I Thought It'd Be Different, dropped by Rory Farrell. Also, half of the new Rory and Mo podcast and whatever else he has going on with Emotional Oranges. It's really good. There's not much else that needs to be said about it. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's very well curated. The sound makes sense. A couple times it gave me thoughts of I thought I should call her. Other times it gave me vibes of you already know what it is. Like, it was great. It was really good, very well put together, and I wish more artists put more thought into their albums like he did.
I agree with that. I thought that it was a very succinct sound. Even the things that are different genres or felt like different genres still flowed together.
Yeah.
Even that, like, as though they were supposed to be the same song.
Yeah. Drum is and Pink Sweat and a lot of those guys are just, man, what a sound. You know what I mean? Like, it's different. It's different. It is shout out to them.
Yeah. It was an amazing project, and I hope that more projects are made.
Yeah, let's pull it up here.
In the near future.
I don't know if he'll do all that, but because I feel like that's kind of hard to replicate. And I feel like they're definitely going to need time. Also, a lot of names that I've never heard of, you know what I mean? But you also have Conway the Machine on here. You have James Fauntleroy. You have Ari Lennox. Alex Isley. Goldlink, J Electronica.
Yeah, that was just some of the like range of features is also super interesting to me.
Yeah. But again, a lot of names I have Division's also in here. Yeah, this was good. This was really good. It was really good. Also went from 80,000 monthly listeners to 1.2 million. Not that numbers matter, but obviously, it's worth listening to. This came out a couple weeks ago. I think it's been out about a month now. You know what I mean? So obviously there's a lot of replay value. Go check it out. I like a lot of those songs. It works.
It absolutely
works.
does.
And especially when you leverage it with other projects that have come out recently, I think it's a pretty good contender of being out a lot of those albums. You know what I mean? Obviously, very different than Jack Harlow's album, but I think he did laps around it in terms of production, quality, and the sound. It's good. It doesn't sound like... so he's been in the music industry for a long time, obviously. But this is his first project. But it doesn't sound like this first project. That's crazy to say. So shout out to them.
Feels like, how they're like the avatar state is when you can access the memories of everyone before you. It's like it went into the avatar state and just laid down everything he's absorbed.
Yeah, it was good. Good for them. Moving on, then you have the baby doing a soft lunch. He has the TikTok music. He's doing the tour or the interview, the press releases, hanging out with big names and everything else like that.
Does he have more than just the one song going right now?
I think so. And,
because I haven't really seen anything but the one song.
I don't think we're his demographic.
That's fair.
But I know right now for sure.
Intentionally so.
I think right now for sure he's stepping back out there. I'm not his demographic because I have checked out his new music and it is still the baby. And for me, I need something a little bit different every now and then. So I just can't go back to the same sound every now and then or all the time. But I do think the baby initially, before everything else that's happened with him, there was a lot invested into the baby and people might want to see a return on what they invested in him.
Dang, dude. Yeah, I could see that. They would love to see their return on him. I personally, though, I feel like I lost faith in DaBaby a long time ago. Like, we have talked about his career and like, because he's always doing something. And like I was saying before we were on camera, like most of the things he does are for viral attention. And
I mean, we're not in a viral age. Who's not doing things for attention?
We are, but not not the great quote unquote artist that we listen to.
I guess that's fair.
Lil Wayne is not doing anything for viral attention right now.
Man, apparently Lil Wayne tried to reach out to John Morant to, give him some more word of advice, and he didn't return the call.
Well, then he clearly ain't got the clout we think he does.
Yeah, who, Wayne?
Either John Morant or he just really is tired of hearing people say that.
I mean, probably, yeah. Again, he's probably young. He's like, nigga, don't call me. Anyway.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I looked up. That's what I was doing over here. I was looking up like DaBaby newest songs. Shake Some, which is the one that everybody is making into a viral sensation. The other most recent song, Selling Crack, featuring Offset. So I don't know. Like you're saying,
what's wrong with that?
No, there's nothing wrong with that. Not the demographic though. I'm just not seeing it.
I'd bop.
I'm sure.
I want to know what
we'll have to listen to it in between the next break.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't say that 2 songs is like you really just going back off.
But that's what it is in today's culture, though.
I guess.
But see,
at least drop a 16-minute project like everybody else.
I think it's interesting because right now you're having the perspective I've been having.
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying.
Because again, he's making a comeback, but in reality, it's 2 songs that are popping off on like TikTok. So is it really popping off, or is it again just the machine behind it?
No. It's probably the algorithm. For him, it's working right now.
Yeah.
And luckily, he still has cosigns from people that have a high visibility, especially in the viral market. The first person that popped off with this song for him was Kevin Hart.
Oh, yeah.
And once Kevin Hart had it, it was over. Like, nobody's not going to see that. I have seen people remix that, photo crop him out, put him in all kinds of different situations. I've seen people take a video of a gorilla and do the same thing. Like, it's all the same song. It's to the point now where I have that sound muted. Like, I don't want to hear it anymore.
I've not heard the song still. It's kind of crazy.
The only part that I've heard is the I don't know if I could dance Boogaloo, and that's it.
I haven't even heard that. But again, during these last 2 weeks, I've spent a lot of time away from socials. I think once you start posting content, you don't really want to be.
Yeah, we haven't really been consuming much content. Like me being injured, especially, I don't give a crap what's going on.
Yeah, no,
in anybody else's world. I've been playing video games.
I'm over here trying to get into like FIFA divisions. Like, I'm not doing all that. But no, I do think, once you start. Not that we're taking up a large portion of the space, but once you start adding to the space and contributing to the content, you don't really care. You don't. I'm not gonna say you don't care, but at that point, you're no longer a viewer. You know what I mean? Like, so you're no longer part of the people who are consuming. Yeah. Like, it becomes different. Like, I just need to know what's going on so I can go talk about it for the content I'm putting out. But I'm no longer sitting around consuming it.
Yeah.
So
I haven't been consuming DaBaby in a long time. I just have to know what he's doing.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely, it switches that way. Because even on like TikTok, like we'll post the TikToks and no one can ever really say I've sent them TikTok reels because I just don't spend that time there. However, on Instagram, which, we try however many times we want, but we just don't post them there. I'll go on there and I'll watch reels because I'm consuming content there, but not on YouTube or anywhere else like that.
Luigi sends a lot of Instagram reels.
You keep saying that, and every time you say it, you make it sound like a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. And then I don't
send them, and then you guys try to make that into a whole other conversation.
It's just funny.
They are funny. They're hilarious. They're great. But again, they're never podcast content because again, I try not to have that on the one space where I'm trying to watch other stuff. But yeah. So again, we're gonna keep it on music. I guess DaBaby's not making a comeback. But Kid Cudi
maybe
looks
he
like,
is, but I don't think he should be.
hey, you never know. Kid Cudi announced what, the Moon Man's Landing.
Yeah, it's like a one day festival in
I
Cleveland.
thought it was 2 days.
From what I can see, it's just one.
Because I thought on one day, because they had Cola Ray, and the other day they had Ice Spice, Lotto. But when is it happening?
Let's see. It was Moon Man Landing. It is August 2nd annual Moon Man's Landing.
Oh, this is the second one.
Yeah, August 19th. Yeah, it's just the one day.
Wow, I didn't know he had a first one. Do you have the lineup?
Yeah, the lineup is Lil Uzi Vert,
Fire.
Kid Cudi,
Okay,
Suicide Boys,
fire.
Coil Ray, Bash for the World, Sienna Bella, and Chelsea Pastel.
No,
And Kid Cudi, obviously.
There has to be another day because that same lineup had Ice Spice, Lotto, and some other people.
Unless freaking Rap Twitter is just trying to feed you garbage, because this is just straight from their website.
I mean, they might not have posted day 2 yet.
It's only one day. Yeah.
Huh.
April 19th, 2023.
Anyway, that proves my point even further. Look at because we've talked about why one person is a bigger star or deserve more stardom than the other. I mean, that proves my point. Look at who's in the lineup and who isn't. But we're not going to have that conversation.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying, what do people say? The truth is always in the pudding or some shit like that.
Yeah, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, the truth is in the pudding.
I don't know. But I would go. It's a little last minute for me to make it, but I would go. I think that would be interesting. I was really happy when the industry went from, like iHeartRadio putting on concerts to artists putting on their own concerts. Yeah, that was a great move for me. I went to Camp Flog Gnaw. I went once, loved it. Was a really great experience. I've been to J. Cole's show. I thought it was amazing. I've been to like the Louisiana Fest. I thought that was awesome as well. And Rolling Loud. Rolling Loud is not necessarily the same thing, but it kind of has that same energy. I like those a lot. So when I see Kid Cudi and Tyler the Creator saying Camp Flog Gnaw is coming back, that makes me really happy because those are festivals I want to go to. Yeah. I'm not at the Gorge. I'm not. You know. Yeah. This is shit we live for. So
yeah, I low key miss the idea of like Summer Jam. But I don't think anybody could ever do a Summer Jam properly.
They're still doing Summer Jam.
Well, yeah, like where in Texas and California.
But apparently the festival for people to go to now is the Roots Picnic in New York.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's interesting.
Apparently, yeah, that's like the really good one now, and they have other ones too that happen. I'm not too old to go to festivals. I think with what's been happening in my life just over the last year or so, I haven't really had festivals on. But we still went to Kid Cudi. I went to go see The Weeknd. But I'm ready to go to Camp Flog Gnaw and potentially, see Tyler and ASAP kicking it in the front row and doing whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I, again, really liked about it. Once they started putting this stuff on, they would go and support each other and they'd be hanging out in the crowd. It was a good time.
Yeah. I'm definitely trying to make Flog Gnaw happen.
Yeah. And it wasn't, I guess... When I went the first time, it wasn't too expensive. The second time I wanted to go, ever since Kanye and Kid Cudi did their thing there, it's been out of my budget. You know what I mean? That's things tend to happen when you get big names to come to your show. Drake went. Mm-hmm. So after that, the bill is a little irresponsible is what I'll call it.
We'll see how it looks.
I would go.
The tickets come out.
I would go.
The Kid Cudi Festival one is only $75, but then there's flight.
I'm joking. Kid Cudi is a big name. I would never trash talk Kid Cudi like that. But I don't think getting to Cleveland is that expensive.
It might not be.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna find out.
Yeah, I mean, it might just be one of those things that's like last minute, so it kind of sucks. But outside of that, I think it's definitely worth checking out. But let's keep talking about Tyler. He just dropped the Rap Radar. Couldn't talk there for a second. Interview. I thought it was pretty good. I need you to get hype, bro. Why you over here yawning so much?
Man, I have been taking a lot of pain meds, and I'm dry over here.
That was ridiculous.
All right, so the Rap Radar interview was really good. I haven't gotten to watch all of it yet, but everything that I did see was spectacular, and it just really drives home the point that Tyler Creator is just like a real person, just a regular guy. I think one of the things that stands out and always has really stood out with me is like how he protects his family. It's like he brought up in one of his songs, like, my mom was in a shelter when I made Yonkers, but I don't bring that up. And like, even after all of that, you could probably scour the web and not really find an actual picture of Tyler's mom.
Yeah.
Because he wants it to be that way. Like, he doesn't want anybody to be harassing his family because he knows that that's what people do when they get too much information. But like, having the wherewithal to like keep your family out of it, but in it, but like know when to bring things up or not, or so on and so forth, is just very interesting.
That's why it was kind of funny when they're like, "So that was your mom in the video, right?" He goes, "That was not my mom in the video."
Yeah, he's like, I have
just
no
hired
idea.
that lady.
Yeah, I have no idea exactly who that lady was. I just hired her.
Which is that's something I do, because I do think you do have to keep things separate to some degree.
Yeah. Just because I'm a celebrity doesn't mean I have to take everybody's bullshit. Like, hell no.
And I like Tyler. Like I said, when he first came out, I was definitely on the edge. I was like, I need to know if this whole cockroach eating thing is the clickbait or if it's, something that's going to be long term. And years later, it's very refreshing to say, like, man's grown.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Something else entirely.
That Rap Radar interview is something I really, really enjoyed listening to. Made a lot of points. I love rappers who know their lines, who can rap them off. Exception for Lil Wayne. Always give them a pass. It was just very genuine. And also, I always like listening. I always like hearing from artists and how they feel about people that I don't like and how they like them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Tyler loves NBA YoungBoy and thinks he's very talented and, really just good at who he is. And I don't feel that way at all.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to kind of, get those. I don't know. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. It definitely makes you think. I don't know. And it wasn't just like the old Tyler interviews either. Like, old Tyler interviews are like, why do you think people don't like you?
Yeah.
Like, new Tyler interviews are like,
you've won a Grammy?
Yeah, like, what does that feel like? And he'll say things like one of the coolest things that he brought up in this interview was he was like, yeah, so Call Me If You Get Lost didn't go platinum until the beginning of this year. And it's been out for like 2 years. Mm-hmm. And he has also dropped The Estate Sale, which is like an extended version of that same album in that amount of time. And then it went platinum.
Yeah.
And he said that he's talked to people and they're like, yeah, man, I'm going to be real with you. I wasn't even fucking with Call Me If You Get Lost. But after The Estate Sale and having grown into who I've become over the course of the last year or two, like, I see the album in its entirety and I see it differently.
Yeah.
And I can almost agree with that because the whole Call Me If You Get Lost project was a constant bop for me these last 2 years. And to get The Estate Sale and have it like, it's like side 2. It's almost like a different guy, but the same person in a lot of ways. Like, that was crazy.
I always told people that music is so contextual that it's not just about how it makes you feel. It's also about where are you at in your life when you're listening to that album. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, there's that energy to it too, because I leverage that album the same way Drake did Honestly Nevermind. You know what I mean? When I was in Mexico, honestly, never mind. It's like I heard those songs for the first time like all over again. The vibe was different. You know what I mean? And same thing for, Call Me If You Get Lost, which I didn't realize Tyler had to come on an interview and talk about the whole Tyler Baudelaire thing, because I always thought it was, like tossed up to the Netflix show and the books and stuff like that. So with that in mind, and also like being in a space when I was traveling and that album came out, I got it immediately. I was like, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Like, this is fire.
The
like, this
sun
man
beaming.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's different when you're, because obviously if you're just at your job every day and you're not having a good time or whatever else is going on, you're not gonna think it's a good album, and you might think it's performing, or you might think it's out of touch now. But in reality, we've both been in a BMW and kind of wanted to take off in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we've both been in situations where, this is life. This is life. And DJ Drama was also really good at what he does.
Yeah,
like
man.
The way he was, pitching on those tapes was, come on.
You know what's something super crazy about DJ Drama? So DJ Drama wasn't making music for a while there, or like you didn't hear any of those Gangsta Grills mixtapes or any of that, because he didn't think that he was that good.
Which is crazy.
Which is insane, dude. Like,
we're in a boat.
Yeah, and then he gets in, and all you hear is like, we just landed in Geneva. That's in Switzerland. That's in Switzerland. We all got our toes out too. I'm like, bro, come on.
And then that's when I tell
and
everybody,
you didn't think you had that?
You ain't got to be that hard, because look at what the hardest dudes are out here doing, landing in places with their toes out. That's what we should all be trying to do. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
It does not have to be serious.
It does
we just
not.
got to be out here enjoying life.
Don't listen to Boosie, man. Y'all ain't got to be out in the streets like this. Y'all could be out in Geneva with your toes out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Absolutely.
Come on. The alternative is having your toes in some boots, selling drugs in the corner, and holding down guns you shouldn't have, and now you're in jail and life sucks. It's true. Is it not true? Like, because apparently, if you're out in the boat, out in the water with your toes out, and you're living a good life, you're no longer
French
gangster.
vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, like that's a bad thing. Apparently, it's a bad thing, but I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
That's my goal.
Sign me up. Come on. Anyway. With that, we'll take it, because we're going to get into some serious conversations now. So we're going to take a break, come back. I got to check out ticket prices to Geneva. That is kind of crazy.
We'll be back.
Oh, man.
All right.
Let's do it.
Back again.
Now that we're done with music and entertainment, which, there's always a little bit of that sprinkled throughout, so we'll be back on it. Texas is finding ways to ban kids from using social media without, proper parental consent or, age and whatever else.
I agree with that. That's probably one of the greatest things to come out of Texas.
I think it's a conversation people don't want to have. But I agree to it too. I get to some degree. As long as it's not in an attempt to stop people from like sharing, information in real time, I agree with it.
Yeah.
If it's setting up blockers so, kids aren't able to go on certain websites and access certain information, to me that does make a lot of sense. But if it's just, we don't want you telling people that we're no longer teaching this in school, or, like kind of like the Starbucks thing where, people are like, Starbucks is not letting us do certain things and stuff like that.
I could see what you mean by that. Like, I could see it being related, but at the same time, it's like, can we realistically trust children with the dissemination of this information anyway?
Well, that's why I think you should have parental controls and blockers and stuff. But I don't know if banning them or stopping them from having access altogether is a good thing.
I think that it definitely calls into question what children need access to or what the childish experience needs to be. Because, like, to me, the access to technology and social media, that has zero bearing on children. Like, I don't think
that's true.
Not like that. I'm saying as in, like, in terms of necessity of that technology, children don't need that at all. Because we grew up without it, for the most part.
Okay, well, that's different. Because right now, what you sound like is, when our parents were like, we grew up without cell phones.
But I'm not saying that it's cell phones. I'm saying it's social media.
I know, but I'm
Like,
saying
what?
But that's the culture now.
But what's to gain from having children on social media right now? Are you
I mean-
saying that we're going to be missing children fighting for their right to learn critical race theory on social media?
So that's what I'm saying, though.
Because I don't think that's the concern.
That kind of is the concern, right? But that's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, yeah, there are things I feel like kids don't need to see on social media. But I don't think I would go as far as to say they don't need to have access to it.
Not in the ways that it's used. If there were such thing as a youth or children's social media platform, I would be way more about that. But there isn't. It's all designed for people above the ages of 16.
I mean, yeah, but...
And that's usually what the end user license agreement is. So, like, yeah, we should probably just not let them use it if there isn't one that exists for them.
I don't know, because now we're running into... Because not everything you see online are things that kids aren't able to see. So, again, it's a fine line.
And that's fair. But that's what I'm saying is, like, if the technology was developed to expand the range of connection between people within a certain demographic or people who are in need of this thing that's lacking so that they can get their information, children below a certain age are getting their information from the more organic sense of that exchange, which is running into each other at school, talking about things, like calling your friends.
But also, we don't need to flip the internet into something that we need to learn from. Because what's wrong with kids being on the internet and just doing nothing but goofiness on there?
I'm not saying that that's a problem either. What I'm saying is the thing that they're regulating, I think that it makes sense for them not to have access to it.
What is the thing that they're regulating?
They're regulating the type of interactions on social media that we as adults are supposed to be having. As in being able to talk about politics, being able to talk about... I mean, I guess in Texas, this is in one way or another a way for them to protect against discussions on critical race theory or the LGBTQ and like all that stuff. But all in all, like I'm saying, I don't think that it's outrageous to be like, yeah, kids don't need to see that in this form. Like, you remember the leapfrog devices? It was like a little laptop.
Yeah.
And they're like, it literally connected to the internet. And like, you could.
That was stupid.
Okay, but I'm not saying that it has to be like that. I'm saying that like, that is a predecessor of the kind of technology that in my eyes would keep the youth safe.
You know what's funny about this? Along the same lines of kids don't need to be on the internet or in some spaces.
Like, we don't even think adults need to be on these things.
I mean, I know, but again, that's very case by case. But there's the other side of that where there was this article I was reading where it was talking about nowadays. So here's the example. I'll break it down for you like this. It's when you're a black person, you walk into a room, and all the white kids who are, say 5, 6, and under, all stare at you. The entire time you're in there, they're just staring. You, with your knowledge, you might, look a little bit more into it. You're thinking like, oh, this kid's probably racist or, whatever it is. But then the article talked about how when in reality, what's happened over time is when we do things like this where oh, my headphones just died.
No.
I think it's like powering down. I think it's good. When we do things like this, and in the name of, kids don't need to be a part of this conversation, they don't need to be online, what happens is these kids grow up watching talking dogs and talking cats and talking ducks, and they're never actually exposed to what the real world is, which is there's a black person who lives next door to you, or there's a black person who lives in your community that you'll run into. Because again, it's that idea of, oh well, since they're kids, we need to really romanticize like the reality they live in.
Once again, though, those things are learned not inherently just from social media. And we're finding that in a lot of cases, they're actually learning worse things about those things when they're exposed to social media.
But that's where no one is setting up parental controls. That is a thing. That is a feature, but no one is doing it.
And therefore, the people who are voting on it are saying, all right, fine. Since people won't do it, we're going to vote to have parental controls. And I'm saying I agree with that.
I guess.
Because, like, we really can't trust people to have parental controls. Let's just
no one is doing it.
Let's go back and be real and say, do you think your parents actually knew how to set up parental controls when that shit first came out?
Okay, well, my parents were immigrants, so that's different.
Beyond that, like that's the whole thing though. Like beyond just being immigrants, like straight up, the only person in my family that knew how to do that kind of shit was my grandfather, and you've met him. Yeah. Like, it's clear to know why he knew how to do that kind of shit. He had his direct TV set up so that only 2 out of the 5 TVs in the house could access certain channels.
But I remember
that's crazy.
Cable at my house was also set up like that, where there are some channels that you needed a password to get into.
And the same thing, I feel, should exist with the internet.
I mean,
but the
I agree.
internet in and of itself is just way too vast for it to be so simple. And so, like, yeah.
Well, there's always going to be some casualties. As much as that sucks to say.
Of course.
There's always going to be some casualties.
That's why I say, yeah, there's going to be some casualties to that effect. But fine, let the government handle it then. Since we can't really trust all these people to do it.
I want to sit up here and talk about let the government handle it.
If it's just
checks.
Oh my gosh. If it's just about like censoring the effects that certain things might have on the minds of the youth, I think that that's a little bit more important.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying, because I went to a school where we had a bunch of laptops.
You're also a Jehovah's Witness, so of course
I was.
Earlier, weren't you talking about how
I said it's still a
from
fix.
his sentiment?
Yeah, I said it's still
preaching everything they taught you.
No. My thoughts on this has nothing to do with that. Like, when it comes to it's not even like a religious thing. It's really just like, do you think that certain things need to be accessed by all people? My answer is absolutely no.
Oh yeah, no, 100%
like,
no.
Straight up, I don't think everything
No.
needs to be accessed by everybody. And they're like, we need to bring, okay, this is an extreme example, but they're like, we need to bring internet to every square foot of the world. And I'm like, I'm going to be dead ass and say, no, we don't. Like, we don't need internet everywhere,
But
bro.
see,
like,
I disagree. I think we should.
I don't think that I should go into the middle of the Amazon and get Wi-Fi. I think that's weird.
Why?
Because maybe they don't want that.
Okay, no. Yes, I do believe there should be an option. If you don't want it, then yes, sure.
And if you can't explain it to them, then you can't really make assumptions.
That's different.
You can't make assumptions.
But at the same time, if we're flying over to Amazon and for some unfortunate event my plane goes down, it'd be kind of fire if I could just whip out my phone.
It happens all the time. Just happened.
And
like, I just watched
because there's no
thing.
Wi-Fi.
Yes,
it's a lost cause. So again, to me, it sounds like we're trying to fix a problem.
that's the natural That's the natural way of life.
Yeah,
maybe
no.
you shouldn't be flying over the Amazon so willy-nilly like that.
That's just okay. What? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Like because you're telling somebody like me who obviously I'm gonna go to Africa and I might casually, accidentally. I'm not flying the plane.
Satellite phones are a thing.
Course.
Satellite phones are a thing, and that for that same reason, I don't think that like imposing the internet or access to internet in its forms right now is something that we need to do.
We wouldn't
on all
impose
people.
it. We would just make it available in that area. Clearly, they wouldn't have.
You would have to
phones
install
still.
infrastructure for it, though.
Yeah, barely.
No, but
We
that's
have
the whole
infrastructure
thing.
that run under like the sea. I'm sure we could figure it out.
But that's
to
like
where
the whole thing.
These,
You'd have
these
to.
Vine people would not freaking.
You'd have to get consent from people who have absolutely no understanding of what it is that
Okay,
you're
fine.
doing to build
Fine.
infrastructure
No Amazon,
in
no
their
Wi-Fi
place.
in the Amazon. I get that. No,
And that's
fine.
why I said that's
You
an
pull up to the
extreme example.
Amazon, you pull up to the Amazon. There's no Amazon 2.4 gigahertz. It's like it. So I get that. Honestly, that's fine.
It's
'Cause
just
let's be
Amazon
real.
underscore rainforest
Yeah,
2.4G.
yeah. But in all reality, how many people really go to the Amazon? But I'm saying for places like, so let's say when I was in like Thailand, I would not have minded if there was just a universal Wi-Fi just throughout the entire world that just worked.
Yeah, obviously.
You know what I
that
mean?
would
Like,
be
so
great.
places like that we can communicate with, that we can set up infrastructure, that we can set up rules and boundaries. I do think, you know, again, communications, like, I shouldn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do agree with you. I don't think kids should have access to the whole wide internet, right? There's a lot out there, both
It's
good
just
and
very,
bad.
it's very in the same expanding universe that the internet exists on.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult to even set a standard.
Yeah.
And so I do see what you're saying. Like, yeah, we can't limit children's access to the internet in its entirety, but where do we really draw the line? Like, it's very hard
guess-
to find that place.
I guess my only thing is, which by all means, I don't have kids. What do I really know?
Yeah.
And clearly I'm above the age. This doesn't even affect me. I watch all the porn I want on TikTok,
We got
Reddit,
no
whatever.
limits.
Yeah.
Everything's on the white list.
Unhinged. But I just don't want this to get to a point where, let's say, again, we do live in a culture where these things happen. If I were to have kids, I don't want, you know, for some reason, I don't know why this would happen, but all cell phone towers to be down and there's like an active school shooting and nobody can even hop on Twitter and send out a tweet saying, yo, somebody's lighting the place up. I guess that's my fear long term, because just because I was at work doing what I was doing and I wasn't able to turn off the parental controls or whatever system that's in place, that they can't use the internet.
I feel like that your fears in that regard are a little bit over the top. Simply because,
Over
like,
the top?
No, listen, because they're not saying that they're going to get rid of all social media. If I'm going to be completely real, the things that they're going to target are going to be, sure, mostly Twitter, but Facebook and Instagram, because those have been proven to be damaging to the youth. Yeah. Twitter is just kind of like hit or miss.
There are
like
BBLs and lip suctions and
yeah, like
and now there's the trend of men in the vacuum, which look into that in your own time, and it is just ridiculous.
My thing is like Twitter is kind of like hit or miss. You could probably make a case that so long as you could mute a certain demographic of accounts, you'd be safe.
Yeah.
Like, you're really totally fine there. Mm-hmm. And if a kid is not following any of those accounts, or those accounts are blacklisted, and they're still able to tweet to their friends, tweet out to other like news sources even sometimes, that is still case in point. Like, we're fine in that realm. But what I'm talking about is like Facebook. Like, frankly, at no point in my youth did I really need Facebook.
I definitely think Facebook,
like
people who rely on Facebook definitely gradually decline in life.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but the people who share their entire life on Facebook, they're always doing bad.
Yeah.
There has to be something in the water.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
But I agree with that.
But my basic premise is like mostly that, yeah, sure, I want kids to learn whatever they can learn. And I don't want them to be thwarted in being able to let somebody know when there's an emergency. But I don't think that this is going to extend to the level of like there's an active shooter and the kids weren't able to tweet about it, and therefore nobody knew anything. Like,
we see where it starts, but where does it end? Right? Because eventually, in some of these spaces, in some of these states, that is not a far off thing to think that they would just block entire. Because I mean, what, in Florida, you can't even use your own pronouns, and God forbid somebody else uses your pronouns, because now you both are going to jail. So we're already seeing where it starts about limiting people access to resources, and it's labeled as something else. So where do we draw the line on?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not seeing how social media is the only solution to us being able to talk about threats or problems.
Well, it's the only way we communicate.
it's not the only way. I feel like there are way more ways
How
that
else
could.
have you been communicating with strangers?
I mean, you could at any point, in theory, if I'm not mistaken, in some municipalities, you can text 911, and they will still get that information.
That's crazy. Could you imagine?
Calling 911 and just throwing your phone and leaving it on the floor is also another very valid way of handling an issue. Like,
I mean,
for me personally,
we've come to find that sometimes calling 911 will lead to your own demise. So that doesn't always work.
and what I'm saying here is that, like, in that regard, we need to have something else then. Like, we don't need to only have Twitter. If the only thing that we can ever look to is like, the only way anybody knew something was going on was because one person tweeted in a thread.
Okay, I mean, I agree with you.
That's not
I
always
agree with
the
you,
case.
but in reality, that is how it's happening now. Like, yes, maybe we do need something else. Yes, I would love for that to not be the case, but right now, that is the only way it's happening. Like, because again, we talk about this
And
all
Twitter
the time.
wants to talk about they're trying to monetize.
Even on CNN will be like, breaking news, active da-da-da-da-da, and then what will they do? Pull up social media footage and people talking about it and stuff. So it is happening on social media.
But what I'm saying is that it's not the responsibility of youth in these scenarios for that to be the only way that that's circulated. Like, if everybody wants there to be a emergencies only fucking social media platform, do that shit then. Make a Firefly version of Twitter where all it is kids tweeting about shit going on at school.
That would just get sad and depressing.
And here's another weird idea. Twitter's out here talking about all these ways that they want to diversify their income and diversify their business. Create a fucking children's Twitter. Like, I feel like at its premise, so many people would praise the company for that. It'd be very difficult. But do it. Fuck it. It would devolve into chaos.
No, see, but that's exactly why they wouldn't do it.
But let it be an attempt at least.
And then, because the thing about kids and them being on social media is they really just do a lot more of what they do in real life. So a kid's Twitter as they get older would just be regular Twitter. Like, it wouldn't be much different because
these, like, the most recent active shooter situations have not been in the types of places where you would truly expect children to have active engagement on Twitter. Like, they've been at, like, elementary schools. So, like, the minimum age for Twitter is 13. So if a 12-year-old gets on there, and even if a 12-year-old is like, there's an active shooter, there's actually a higher chance that their account gets taken down than anything else becomes of that.
I'm just saying, we got to figure something out with this.
And that's what I'm saying. And I think that the solution is a little bit easier on the company side, like the people who make the software. Sure, yeah, the government is regulating it now because they have no stake in it. They don't give a fuck.
Montana banned TikTok, which means, as long as you're within the state of Montana, the IP address, you won't be able to download or use it. So, there are ways to do it. I'm sure there are ways to...
Which is so wild to me. You're just, like, watching your shit, and you drive over the border, and it's, like, cannot connect.
Yeah, apparently... Well, so, what they also did is,
people are doing
They were
VPNs.
smart. They were smart about it, too. That is what happened. There was a rise in, like, VPNs coming out of Montana and everything. But instead of, fining people for using TikTok, which obviously would have never gone well with the public... Now it's TikTok was taking all the fines. So if people in the state are like, oh, yeah, we found a way around it. Yeah, that's cool. Now we're just going to find TikTok. So they will block your account so you can't use it ever again.
Damn.
Right? Because you don't want to keep
crazy.
paying $5,000, $50,000 fine for random people in the middle of the country. You know what I mean?
No. We're cool off that.
So I do think there are ways around it. The TikTok battle is still going on, even though we've heard a lot less about it recently. But I think it's interesting. There's a lot going on with social media right now and who should be on it, who shouldn't be on it, what should be posted, what shouldn't be posted. And again, people thought the internet was here as a fad. So anyway, there has not been any charges pressed against Conor McGregor for knocking out that mascot.
But we're hearing about possible other charges being pressed against him for rape.
Oh, okay. Well,
that same evening.
That's not where I was gonna take that at all. So that's interesting.
I'm just adding more
on
updates.
that. Well, no,
yeah,
well,
I'm just
what-
adding updates.
So Conor McGregor had a bit with some mascot, laid him out. That's what
But,
I was
like, actually laid him
listen.
out.
That's what I wanted to talk about. But let's hear more about what you said.
All right, so I'm gonna look it up. Conor McGregor on the same night that he was accused of beating up the mascot,
Okay.
like straight up. Anybody can say what they want. Accused, alleged. I watched this man get knocked off his feet. Okay.
No, the first one was part of the bit.
Yeah,
is
even
what
if
they
it was.
said.
Yeah, even if it was on the bit, bro.
I do think, however, part of the bit or not, it is Conor McGregor. Say what you want about fighting, if it's real or not on TV. I kind of realized that hit, the first one, connected a little too good because of the way his feet fell and the way he couldn't get up. He was a little dazed. I'm just not sure why the follow-up happened. You know what I mean? Like, what was the point of you going back and giving him the two-piece?
Yeah,
because
bro.
that for sure.
Let him breathe.
And they had to drag him out. When they had to drag, I was like, that's not part of the bit. That can't be.
Yeah,
they
no.
drag him. No. But what happened later on that evening?
So according to this, the assault may have happened in the Kezia Center. Like,
Was it Damascus?
no, goddamn. No, so it was who he was at the game with. Yeah, so it says that she was violently sexually assaulted in the bathroom at Miami's Kaseya Center. And then they said, like, they were reviewing the footage of them, like, at the game afterwards, and she was, like, her body language told the story that she was not really trying to be up in there anymore. And I'm like, damn. Why this man commit major felonies every time he come out? Like,
I get this man out the country, man.
We really do.
Yo,
like, honestly, dog, leave.
This is kind of ridiculous.
You're wild for that.
That is ridiculous.
You beat somebody up and then went and did some dirty actions and then just came back out like it was all sweet, bro. Honestly, fired.
That man looked unhinged. I'm not gonna lie. We gotta wait to hear more about that because that is completely insane. And that's not anywhere really. No one's talking about that.
No, this is on New York Post. Well, if you look up Conor McGregor, it's the only headlines.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's insane.
That and him
insane.
about to have another kid.
Jesus Christ. I don't like that.
Yeah.
But whatever.
But yeah, Conor.
Yeah.
Regret the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's crazy. Because like I said, even the mascot video, like, yeah, I laughed a couple times. But I will say, I was like, yo, you look like you knew what you were doing, and that's not cool.
No.
That's not cool.
Like everybody always says about fighters, like, your hands are registered weapons.
Yeah, like watch that shit.
Yeah, be super careful. I don't just go juggling knives, right?
No.
Like, because first off, I can't juggle like that. But second off, that shit's dangerous.
That is dangerous.
Come on.
Also, talking a little bit more about sports, Messi's coming to the MLS. I know we're not huge soccer fans over here. I am.
We might become.
But I know, it's not a general theme to actually really love and support soccer. But I thought that was really good news because it will bring a lot more, I guess, conversation around the topic. And I'm ready to flex my sports soccer acumen to these ladies who are looking for, a soccer daddy.
Oh my God.
But no, all jokes aside, I'm trying to go see a game.
Yeah, I'm absolutely trying to see
You know
a
what I
game.
mean?
I've been trying to go to a Sounders game for a while. It's just not been in the budget.
They're getting expensive.
Yeah.
With everything that's happening, because we've had this conspiracy, right, where I'm like, hey, how much time we got?
2 minutes.
So I got this conspiracy. I'm going to try to keep it quick. That our celebrities are not hanging out with all of these bigger world star soccer players. Megan, Romelu Lukaku. You got freaking Kim Kardashian and her kids overseas watching the games. You got all these things happening. And I really think it's because, obviously, we care about our celebrities here. And what better way to introduce mainstream soccer than to pair our biggest names with the biggest stars? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm right there with that conspiracy. Like, I feel like it's all a game.
Yeah.
You know, like how can we pair people up with each other in order to create super wealth and like super followable celebrities? Like, I don't know. Like, we are addicted to our celebrities.
Yeah.
The rest of the world doesn't do that kind of stuff as
No.
much.
But they do it for their soccer stars.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Crazy.
for us to find new ways to monopolize on a person's image, that's the U.S. way, man.
Exactly. So with that, we'll be back. We have a little bit more to talk about. Show's almost over. It's good to be back. Hopefully we can make this a little bit more of a better reoccurrence without injuries and other life things happening. So yeah, the Winning Podcast.
Rolling.
The internet is an interesting place because when the internet gets washed, you know, they make sure they get everything. The next thing we were going to talk about was Zion Williamson and Mariah Mills. Yeah, Mariah Mills. Give y'all some context. Mariah Mills is an adult actress, film actress, whatever the term is. And apparently her and Zion Williamson, which if you don't know was supposed to be the next LeBron until an injury, but even then he's still like highly coveted and highly like regarded as supposed to be the next up. So a week back, apparently he has a baby on the way. Homegirl wasn't happy with it. She got on Twitter. She talked about how he cried when she gave him head. I know.
Leave him alone.
She talked about how, you know, she let him spin her mouth, like all the stuff they did. They recorded the video. He was paying her $107,000 a month. He was paying for her school. He told her, you know, love, family, future together. You know, the whole shebang.
And then he got another girl pregnant.
Low key crying from getting head is insane. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay, it is insane, but I'm gonna be real and say that, like, in the grand scheme of all of humanity, that's not the worst.
It's not the worst, but honestly, somebody coming out and like saying that
About
because we
you.
know it happens, right? Like we know it happens, obviously. It's like with no details needed, but you know it happens. But coming out and like,
Inflaming me for it?
yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, man.
More than that, again, because of who this person is, very big name. So now, you know, we're really getting into the personal life and what they like to indulge in. A lot of people said, honestly, bro, this situation is something you shouldn't have had to pay for. This is based on who you are. This shouldn't be happening to you based on who you are. I'm not in that league. I don't know how those things work. But I will say paying anybody $107,000 a month
For them to flame
for
you?
years.
For them to just
Not
out
even
you, bro?
for them to flame you. Like, what do you mean? I don't even understand.
No.
Because again, a lot of people are saying, bro, you made a rookie mistake. Like, this is something you should have been having. This is an experience you should have been having for free. So you could have never turned into this.
Yeah.
But more so, you know, she was taking shots at the baby mama. She was taking shots at, you know, all the emotional damages and everything else he's caused her. How, you know, she gave the spiel of, I lifted you up when nobody else was. How can you do this to me? But also, like, how can you cut me off from $107,000 a month?
Okay.
I looked up her picture. I'm not going to lie. I agree with a lot of people that this is not something you should have been paying. Not her specifically, but the experience.
Yeah.
Because I was like, girl, no fucking way I'm letting you talk to me like this.
No way. So let's just back up here. Man has a baby and goes, "Hey man, you know, maybe I'm not with the hoe shit anymore. I think I've realized that."
Mm-hmm.
And you tell your hoes, I'm not with the hoe shit. I should probably be being better. I'm about to have a kid. And then one of your hoes goes, man, fuck them kids.
Yeah.
I would be so disappointed.
Also, man, you gotta listen. I know the new culture nowadays is the Instagram baddies, you know, getting with the girls from OnlyFans, but come on. You're 22. Why is it that when they're reporting on you and your love life is that you're out here with the Instagram baddies and the OnlyFans models?
And that's all they can say.
That is so ridiculous. And no shame to those girls and whatever they have going on, but you're 22. You know the other
Go
thing.
live your life.
You know the other thing I find a problem.
Leave this dad alone.
When we're talking about these people, right? And they have kids, 4 or 5 kids already, and then you find out they're like 20 something. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, no.
How do you even have so much money? Like, it's
Priorities.
Yo, it's kind of crazy. And people are also saying, apparently, this man was just up to no good, bro. Like, he went and got injured and decided to just do everything that would put him in this situation, which is kind of crazy.
And honestly, though, like, I don't know. I want to know the whole situation. And I'm not trying to, like, discount or, like, cut down on her emotions or, like, what she's feeling in this situation. But, like...
Hold on. I hate you. Oh, my God.
My God.
Zion Williamson. Looks like you've been had a girlfriend and sleeping with other women behind my back. Zion Williamson, you liar. This is from Mariah Mills.
That's funny.
How many more women don't you think I've been humiliated enough? Mariah Mills. Who is this woman?
Oh my God.
Who? So this is the woman I want. This is Mariah Mills because, you know, at my age, I just can't just be out here watching porn all day, so I don't know who these people are. Why is this person running your name through the mud on the internet?
That's what I'm saying, bro. Why are dudes really giving up these contracts to adult actors?
Happy hoes ain't hating and hating hoes ain't happy.
That's facts.
Yeah, I couldn't even say nothing about that. But I do think it's interesting because shortly after that, she was like, I needed to take some time away from social media. This is just too much. I need privacy.
After you just outed everybody.
What is going on? What is going on?
I remember seeing this first come up and being like, you spit in my mouth. How could you?
Also, that's beginner shit.
That's what I'm saying. Here's the deal.
And again, you said it's 22. You see how it comes back full circle?
Yeah,
that's
like,
some beginner shit. Look at what you trapped him with. And let's be completely honest. Being in the industry you're in, do not leverage that against me.
No.
Don't you do that. It's
don't
not
be
shaming
like,
the work. Are you serious? You're going to leverage? Come on.
Like, here's the deal. Even if we didn't have plans to get married and have kids and do whatever, I'm liable to spit in your mouth, okay? Like, I'm gonna do that. So unless you tell me you're not into it.
And
like,
you're also leveraging
come
that.
on.
I cried a little bit when you gave me
Bruh.
You brought your job home. Like, come on. Honestly, if I were to ever be with like an adult actress and like it wasn't at least top 5 experiences I've ever had, I'd be disappointed. I don't know if I'd cry, but like...
I don't know if it's that he cried because of the head either. Like,
he's 22. I promise you my man's eyes were rolled back, cried because of the head.
I don't know, man.
And he's 22 now. Apparently they've been messing around for a couple of years, so he was probably around like 18, 19 when they first started. 18,
right, so
19?
Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. Crying from the head, like, it's not like homeboy got mommy issues halfway through and that's why.
No,
like,
I know. That's not what I'm saying.
Like, any of us with a penis can say that we had the one where we was like, whoa. Like, come on.
I ain't never cried though. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, but
never
like,
cried.
it elicits a different response out of each person.
But
right?
I will say,
you know, the that we've been talking about, like the orgasm shake. Like the orgasm shake pulls different things out of different people.
I've definitely gotten it's definitely been done, and I rethought that person's position in my life.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Maybe we could do something out of that.
Oh my God.
You've never had.
I mean, obviously, yes.
Yeah, bro.
But what I'm saying is
sometimes
like,
it's been so disgusting.
Oh my
There you go.
goodness.
You know what? Like, couple kids, a minivan, SUV. I guess
hell no, not the minivan,
bro.
Only the
So
Tesla.
I get it. I wasn't mad at him for crying. That's not what I'm just saying, like, leveraging that against somebody.
Yeah, I feel like that was
Especially
messed
with
up.
everything else considered, is not okay.
No.
Especially
That was messed up. That's outing somebody from a
God.
safe space.
that is just ridiculous. One of my favorite podcasters, when they were talking about the situation, they go, when the camera turns on, the body doesn't count. So because people were like, okay, obviously you were one of his best sexual experiences because that's also what you do for work. So obviously, again, the younger the person is, you can show them things that you've learned in your field of work. Not slut shaming, it's just true.
Yeah.
Right? Like, come on.
Like, here's the deal. A fucking train operator, a fucking crankshaft operator, I can almost guarantee you they do the same kind of work. But I haven't been able to find out because I don't know a crankshaft operator, all right?
Listen. But the girl was like, you guys can't say that because when the camera turned on, the body doesn't count. Do you believe that?
No.
I don't. Thank you. That's insane. And again, it's not even
I'm
slut
not
shaming.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's like, oh, like you have so many bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am looking for experience.
The experience is still there.
in my interactions. Like, if I'm gonna have sex with somebody, I would like it to not suck.
Yeah.
And
100%.
I know that you know what to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna expect you to every time you're not recording just suck.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
what are you? Why the fuck would you do that? Because
that
know
was just work. Girl, you better be working right now.
Yeah,
what
like
you mean?
you know what feels good for you. And
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily telling you to do porn star work while we're fucking, but I'm telling you to do what you need to do to enjoy it
Yep.
as well. So if we're both here to enjoy a good time, don't try to give me anything about how this went afterwards.
Yeah.
All right. Like, we both came in here, we had a great time. You did some shit I ain't never seen. And it should not scare you that I've never seen that shit either.
Because I'm like 20.
Yeah, bro, because I've never seen that shit. You're the first person I've had that knows how to do this. So
The thing is, too, a lot of time people will be like, well, he has money, so I'm sure he's had interaction with women. You also got to understand, a lot of time those interactions happen because they have money. And the younger you are, that's not even really a genuine interaction because you never know if that person's with you because of you being the number one draft pick or because they actually like you.
Here's another thing. Everybody wants to be like, damn it just escaped me because I was trying to get it off there. But everybody wants to be like, we don't expect you. Fuck. I lost it.
Damn.
I lost it.
Well, ultimately, I think we're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Do we think this is a situation where she took advantage of him?
I think so.
Because
that's what I was gonna say. They're like, yeah, like you should know better or da 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 da. Bro, if I knew better, I wouldn't be paying for it.
Yeah.
Like, here's the deal.
Like you guys were also saying.
I would not have been paying $107,000 a month to get fucking dragged if I knew better.
Yeah.
Like, come
100%. 100%. And
it's like MC Hammer. Everybody's like, man, why'd you give everybody your money away? Because I thought you was my boys.
yeah,
What are you talking about?
And I thought I would have a lot more money. But obviously, again, learning opportunities and a lot of these things. But I will say at the same time,
better have learned.
if you did not have money before, I know another trait you must have had is how to save money. So in those moments, maybe one of those months, you should have been like, I'm gonna be real. I ain't got it this month. Even if you got it. Cause it's pretty crazy for somebody to be like, how can you cut me off from and you said how 6 figures? $107,000 a month, bro?
And here's another thing. Her response is just kind of outrageous in general. Like, you were getting paid for services, right?
Yeah.
And the person goes, I don't want the services anymore. So reasonably, they should stop paying you for them, right? And then you go, hey, I can't believe you stopped paying for these services you didn't want.
I'm gonna be honest. We need to let this conversation die. Men say things to have sex with you. That is just what that. Even saying it sounds really grimy. It sounds really shitty. I promise you, he is not the only guy going around telling women he loves them just to get in bed with them. That is that's like men with new money 101.
And for her to be like, haven't I been embarrassed enough? I don't know.
I don't.
I have no idea.
Yo, for
what
real.
are you talking about?
You're embarrassed?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Again, like, there's just a weird thing we do, right? We're always like, oh, all men want to do is have sex. All they want to do is sit with different women and do all sorts of stuff. And then you run into the guys who that is all they do, and then they go, whoa, how could you do that? What is the conversation?
That's
we're
what you
having
said.
Here? Yeah. And again, it doesn't even come down to the sex. It comes down to the level of experience and the maturity on both sides.
Yeah.
This kid is 22. Apparently, when you get money in the NBA, it's like guaranteed money. So this man is for real rich. Like, he got money. Like, it's not even something you got to debate. He is rich.
Yeah.
He is wealthy. But he's also 22.
Yeah.
Yo, could you imagine at 22 having $100 million in the bank? And even though you're injured, you're still regarded as your next up. So whenever you're good to go, we'll be here waiting.
I couldn't imagine.
You
That, honestly.
out here running in the streets, bro. Oh my God! Like, come on.
Yeah.
Can we be honest?
Absolutely. Like, I don't know what exactly I would spend my money on, but it would be ridiculous.
You would be spending money.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And okay, I'd be spending money on women. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I'd be doing $107,000 a month.
Luigi, you would have to convince him.
Yeah.
It might not take as much convincing, but you'd have to convince him.
You might have to. And I'm not saying like you have to have like you legit have to have sex with, but I'm saying like it would probably have to be a situation where I did cry if we did have sex. You know what I mean?
Dead.
Because like no, and I guess for me too, we would have to have such an intimate relationship anyway for me to want to spend that money on you. Mm-hmm. But probably if you've never made me cry in that way, I would not spend. I'd spend some money, but maybe not $107,000.
Nah, there are very few things that could get me to spend. What is that like?
Jesus Christ.
That's like I don't even know. That's almost $1 million in a year, bro.
Bro, yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. And not
no wait, hold on.
NDA
like,
never came along.
I gotta do
for anyone like during that entire period. No, I'm not doing it. So my man's getting dragged, and I think it's kind of funny, but it also goes to show it's a nasty world out there, man.
Bro, that's $1.2 million.
Hey, when you got 200 million, that's like a drop in the bucket. Not to me.
I don't think anything is a drop in the bucket to me, bro.
Not to me.
You could legitimately be like, I could wake up tomorrow to a letter in my fucking email that's like, we decided that a lottery was going to happen and all the billionaires in the world pulled together $10 billion so that they could name you the most rich person in the world. And I would take that $10 billion, look at that email and be like, I'm going back to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would probably find something to spend that money on eventually.
I think
But if at first I'd be like, I have no idea what to do with this.
I would have fallen back to sleep and woken up in Geneva with my toes out. I'm not doing it. And also, we'll have this conversation off the air. I don't think at any given point in your career like this, you should be paying for anything like that.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Especially if it's supposed to be love.
Yeah.
Like, girl, if it was love.
Why is it so expensive?
Yeah, bro. Anyways.
And how many times did he cry? Because that is another thing, too. Because if it's just the first time, that doesn't count. But if it happened
that's what I'm saying. I want to know the story.
Yeah, if
like,
it's happened a few times, then, sure.
Did his homie just get shot and he was like, come here, baby, I'm going to give you some head. And then he cried. Like, I want to know the story. Because there is very few things that you could convince me. Yeah, sure, some dudes just be crying. But, like, I don't think so.
And, I mean, there's been some encounters, you know what I mean, that are just unforgettable. I need to hear the story.
Yeah, bro.
That's just a lot for you to get off. You cried. Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. I just wrote you a $107,000 check. Of course I'm crying.
Oh,
Shit hurts. But anyway, Man, Zion, listen, man. I clearly do not live in your world. I do not have the bread you got. But if there's one piece of advice I can give you, I mean, the only advice I can give you, bro, is you gotta be more incognito. You cannot be out here letting women get on social media talking about the things you do to them, what they do to you, because it doesn't look good. You know what I mean?
No.
Because even eventually when you do make your comeback and you winning MVP awards and, breaking records, we're still going to remember you cried.
That you cried during head, bro.
Because that's kind of crazy. It's
Give
only
us
crazy
the story,
yeah,
bro.
it's only crazy because she came out and said it and you didn't. If you'd have been with the boys and shared the story, it would have been like, we already knew that. Mm-hmm. But, anyway, how much time we got?
We got like 10 minutes.
All right.
We only have a couple things left to say.
That's true. The DC Young Fly thing, I do want to keep it fairly quick.
Yeah.
Prayers and condolences go out to my man. Well, it's not really my man. I don't know him, but you know what I mean. It's never easy to lose somebody you love. You know what I mean, or the mother of your children. But without going too much into that, because everybody else has already covered the topic, what I want to talk about is Azalea Banks and her nasty comments towards it.
Azalea Banks is a ridiculous creature.
Yeah.
I don't really have very many instances where I'm like, hell yeah, Azalea Banks.
Yeah.
I have none of her music in my library. When she was on Wild 'N Out, she got clowned into crying. And so that's why she feels like she needed to fire back at somebody.
Wronged. And you do it
But
when
it's
that
like,
person
man,
is grieving over a death. You know what I mean? They're grieving over losing their partner and someone they clearly cared about. Because like you said, the skit didn't even go too far. They were doing their job.
Dead ass. Everybody on that show gets clowned, bro. Like, and I've heard some of their jokes, and then they have to get up and do that shit again next week.
Yep. Like everything's cool.
Like everything is cool.
No one's feelings were hurt. No nothing.
And sometimes they do be hurting each other's feelings.
Yeah.
But they handle
that's
that
part
shit.
of the job.
Yeah, they handle that shit. They talk about it off camera. They do what they got to do. Like, you're wild for that.
I do think this does come at a very unfortunate time because, I think his show is getting ready to be on Netflix. He has a lot of other things happening. Obviously, he has Wild 'N Out. And Jackie O, who I didn't really know too much about, was obviously involved in a part of that as well.
She was a Wild 'N Out girl.
Yeah. So that's
the Wild 'N Out girl.
So that's kind of crazy. It's very sad. But I definitely don't think it was the time or place for Azalea Banks to have anything to say. I don't know if she's came out and apologized since then, but if she hasn't, she needs to. Not that it would make the situation better, but at least take accountability for being
your vile comments.
Stupid. Yeah. When it was unprovoked, unwarranted, talking about God don't play about you, when in reality, like, that's just, come on. It doesn't, no, come on. But anyway.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
And I hope that the doctor has to pay a fat fine.
Man, honestly.
And doesn't get to do plastic surgery anymore, but I honestly don't think that's how it's going to go.
Yeah, we'll see. I want to skip the whole Home Depot girl and the whole Shaq thing. Mostly because, honestly, Homegirl's already going through it, apparently. So
yeah. We're just going to leave that one alone. Don't dox people on the internet because you think they're hot.
No.
That's weird and creepy.
Very weird and odd.
And I don't know. I don't even really want to say anything about the Shaq thing. That was just bad optics.
Yeah.
And
but apparently he just might have wanted to help because Shaq be helping everybody.
Shaq does help a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I'm just
she's
saying,
also the one who chose to post that. So
yeah.
that, kind of comes out on her as well.
Yeah. It's the optics.
Yeah. Besides that, we're going to take a quick break, come back and wrap it up with...
I mean, we have enough time. I don't know if the camera will survive us turning it off and turning it back on.
Okay, no worries. So, YK Osiris...
forcibly kissing Suki Hana.
Ridiculous.
More people just being creepy and over the top. Like, I feel like in the industry... we've gone so far beyond the whole like smile, people will think you're prettier. Like that's the kind of energy that just kissing somebody on the cheek without their consent gives.
No, bro, he
Like,
was full tongue down her.
I know. I'm talking like even so simple as just kissing somebody on the cheek. Like, motherfucker, you hug somebody from the side and push your face on their face, that's like assault.
Yeah. No,
Like,
it is.
straight up.
It's straight up assault. His apology also didn't really do much to really...
She accepted it.
She did?
Yeah, I just looked it up. She accepted it. Hopes he's learned to respect others' boundaries.
Poor girl.
The fact that you have to...
I want to be real, bro.
Like, I don't think she had to accept it, but...
knocked us. Yo. Ever since I heard about him and the whole he owes everyone money.
Look at this freeze frame. The dude on the left.
Yeah. Because he's goofy, bro. He's... he literally looks like that one guy who's in the group who just... His head is too small for his body. Even though he's entirely tiny and shit. But he's just hella annoying. You know what I mean? People keep saying he's mad famous, mad respected in the industry and stuff. By who? And I do think it's very foul what he did. The other aspect too is like everyone's saying how come no one around him stopped it. But honestly, in a moment like that, what do you do?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? 'Cause
like,
you never
are we
know.
gonna all just get up and jump him?
Yeah, you never know.
Like-
Because some people say, well, they don't know if, that was part of a relationship. They don't know if it was part of a bit. Because who just walks up to a complete stranger and does that without any insight, background, or whatever?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, obviously, things like this happen, but on like, live television, you know what I mean? Like, during broad... It's crazy. It's insane. So how do you respond in a situation like this?
I slap him like Will Smith.
I mean, she did also say that she was like, as a woman, you never really know who's watching or who that person's affiliated with. So, like, she was scared to, like, do anything really, which is sad.
That is super sad.
But at the same time, we can't... I'm glad she accepted his apology, but my man we can't let him get that one off.
Did not deserve. And honestly, YK, you've been needing to take a break.
Yeah.
For some time.
We
honestly,
can't let him get that off. We cannot let him get that off because that is just ridiculous. I do think it's legit ridiculous and something that needs... I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway,
oh yeah, you want to talk about you put in Meek Mill response?
yeah, because he tried to come to his defense. I don't even want to talk about that. Honestly, we've been potting for a while. Let's wrap this up. It's good to be back. There's not having much else to say. I'm gonna be real. It's been so long. It's lights or beaming and it's hurting my head.
Yeah, I'm like getting hot again.
Yeah, so we're gonna wrap this up. We'll be back next week with a lot more comments, a lot more segments. Whatever else might happen. Hopefully we stay safe and don't get injured. The Winning Podcast.
We out. Be safe.